the knife's edge between acknowledging and paying respect to the history, because something very serious happened there, and it's not something you want to make light of. A lot of people were executed for while being innocent. I'm going to go ahead and say that these women were not witches that were executed. But they also very much lean into the Halloween of it all. It's a lot of spooky themed, things. They have, I don't know if you guys ever walked along Hollywood Boulevard. You can take pictures with like Spider-Man and Optimus Prime and stuff like that. They have very similar things. You walk through town and there are people dressed as Michael Myers or Glinda and Elphaba, or or different different characters.
To get in?
To get into what?
To get into the town.
Well, no, not to the town. And now you do have to get there early. It's a small town, and they said in the month of October they expect about 2 million visitors.
Whoa.
So you got to get there early, and you got to book, particularly this time of year, because now everyone wants to go this time of year. All the tours, all the museums and everything. If you wait till the day of, you're not going to get into anything. So luckily we had our Ghost and Graveyards tour booked. We had the tour of the Witch House already, everything.
What's the Witch House?
So the Witch House is the only standing house still in Salem that had anything to do with the witch trials, and it was the house of the judge who kind of oversaw everything. So you go into the house, it's sort of a self-guided tour, you kind of walk around, and they have a lot of explanations of different things. I have a really fun video on my Instagram at Jake's Takes. It kind of takes you through some of the things that I saw there. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Set to Hocus Pocus music. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's really, I would argue, you just need a day. And because we also did Boston things. I went to my first game at Fenway, which was a lot of fun. I'd never seen the Red Sox play there before. Yeah, it was, as a Halloween guy, the last weekend of September, gearing into October, it was just a fun, really, Halloween kind of, introduction.
Do they have like monuments up and like placards that explain?
They do, yeah. They have different things around town, and they have museum. They have the Salem Witch Museum, and they really have a really nice memorial to a lot of the women and a couple of men who were executed during that time.
How many people?
I think it ended up being around 25 different people.
At one time?
No, over different days. They break it down by the day. A lot of them, I think it was within a couple of week period that this sort of hysteria took over, right?
Just a couple of weeks.
It was a couple of weeks. So I think it kicked off at the end of August, and then went through. Majority of the executions took place a couple at a time throughout different weeks in September. If you've ever had the chance to read, even though now we're getting nerdy as an English minor, forgive me. Even though The Crucible isn't technically about the Salem witch trials, it's about McCarthyism in the 1940s and the Red Scare and everything. But it's about, it uses the Salem witch trials as the concept of the hysteria and stuff like that. If you get the chance to see the movie The Crucible with Daniel Day-Lewis and Winona Ryder, great movie, and it kind of gives you sort of a vibe for what it was.
That's fascinating. I'm such a nerd, and I remember. I was an English major too.
Sure.
So we read The Crucible, and yeah, it is. So this judge whose house you went to oversaw. So the executions actually happened on his watch.
So his name was, I believe, Joseph Hathorne.
Okay.
And his great grandson was the author of The Scarlet Letter, who was so ashamed of what his great-great-grandfather did, he added a W to his name and became Hawthorne. Daniel Hawthorne? Forgive me, sorry, English teachers out there. But he wrote the Scarlet Letter and a lot of books that took place sort of around there at that time, but was very ashamed of his great-great-great-grandfather judge who overseed it, who, until my understanding is, until the day he died, believed that he did the right thing and believed that the people that he executed, because the executions were horrible. If you're unfamiliar with it, basically they would throw women into the river, and basically sinking to the bottom and drowning proved that you were innocent. And if you didn't sink and drown, then you were a witch. So there was no win. There was no win there. You know, it was a really, you know, at the end of the day, it was a hysteria that took over. But it's a fascinating piece of history, and the town does a really nice job of honoring that, acknowledging that, but then also it's Halloween and there are ghosts running around and there's a bewitched statue there. You know, it's a whole thing.
Were the witches all local, or did people come from across?
No, it was sort of a local thing. It started with two young girls, and it started just with like rumors of like girls out in the woods doing things. I think there were rumors that they were seen like flying over, and it just started. It was just a lot of finger pointing. Yeah. It was like, you know, if you've ever seen, you know, The Crucible, it's basically accusations that stemmed from infidelity, and it's like, you know, it got to a point where it was like it was almost weaponised, where it's like if you didn't like a person, you pointed at someone and went, that person's a witch.
And it kind of lived itself out again. You mentioned McCarthy.
Yeah, exactly.
The Red Scare. Kind of this phenomenon lives itself out.
Yeah, exactly.
It plays itself out in different manifestations.
It's fascinating. It's a fascinating period of history. And if you're into that, I really do think that you could have a great time in Salem. And you know,
it's interesting.
It is. It's super interesting. I mean, and they kind of touch on that a little bit in Hocus Pocus, which I actually just rewatched. That was my first Halloween movie of the season.
There you go.
Because I bought the book. Because they have a lot of little things there. The Book of Shadows. Yeah, I bought the book. Yeah.
All right. Before we get to a jam-packed hour on Chicago.
Oh my God, we're 7 minutes in already. My God.
So juicy.
With our sorry, Mr. Michael Babcock. I understand you are on the line. Michael, can you hear us?
Oh my God, Michael, I'm so sorry.
Jake Hamilton.
The way he must sit there and just roll his eyes the entire time. I'm so sorry.
It's like I'm sitting at home on my couch. I love it. You don't have to talk to me. I'll just listen. I got the coffee and everything.
There you go,
my man.
There you go.
So good.
Wait. Michael, you're from the East Coast, correct? You're from Jersey?
Yeah, from New Jersey.
I was
just got back. He was interviewing Jeremy Allen White.
Yeah, well, I was in Asbury Park for the Springsteen movie.
Oh, amazing! I thought were you North Jersey?
What? We said that again?
North Jersey?
You were in North Jersey?
Dude, my knowledge of listen, the car took me and said here, so I assumed that was the right place.
He was at the Stone Pony, though.
Yeah, we did interviews at the Stone Pony. We had a great time.
You went to the Pink Pony
That's
Club.
Amazing. That sounds awesome.
Different place.
It gets a bad rap, right? Jersey. It's a lot better, beautiful. I think, than you might expect.
We did live shots along the boardwalk. We went live inside the Stone Pony. I thought it was gorgeous. I could see myself spending a day
Stone
there.
Pony. I've spent some time at the Stone Pony.
I bet you have, Michael.
All right, Michael, we want to start off. Let's get caught up on this Nicole Kidman, Keith Urban situation. My co-anchors here on Good Day Chicago were talking about, so Keith Urban has a younger lady friend. Is it?
Stop.
Get us updated here. What's the deal?
Yeah. That's a great question, and that is the question. So, and this shocked, I think, a lot of people earlier in the week. So we did a story that Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman, after almost 20 years of marriage, they would have celebrated their 20th anniversary in 2026, that they had separated, but that we were told Nicole really still wanted to try and make the marriage work. Well, not too long after that, we learned that she had kind of given up on that ever happening and had in fact filed for divorce. Now, it wasn't going to be some contentious divorce. It's not Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, who have fought seemingly over every single thing in their divorce, because when Nicole filed, they had already agreed on almost everything in the divorce. So talking about custody of their 14 and 17-year-old kids, talking about possible child support, alimony, everything like that was already squared away, and they had both signed off on it. So while they're not officially divorced yet, it doesn't seem like it's going to be a lengthier or protracted process here. They've agreed on everything that you might fight over, and they are divorcing, which is it's sad, because I think they're one of those Hollywood relationships that you say, okay, that's real. It's not for publicity or status or anything like that, and they've got a chance to make it the long haul. And then obviously not, because this happens again. Together for a long time. They were together for 2 decades, but nonetheless, they are split now. Keith has a woman that he plays, that he performs with. She's one of his guitarists. She is 25 years old. Her name is Maggie. There is some thought that he could be in a relationship with her, or in some sort of romantic setup with her. we were told that before anyone said Maggie's name, we were told by people who were close to Nicole that they felt that he had moved on with another woman. They weren't sure exactly who it was or when it happened, but they felt like he had moved on. And then, what do you know? There are these videos that come to light that seem to show him being flirty with this Maggie woman on stage, who, again, like we said, is only 25 years old, and changing the lyrics of songs, a song, The Fighter, that he wrote for Nicole Kidman, changing the lyrics, that were about her to something that was about Maggie. So I think there's some smoke here at the very least.
But okay, but because I sort of get both sides of that, because if he but hear me out.
Stop it right now.
If he has a lyric about the woman with whom he is going through, like, because he was just in Chicago a week ago. I saw him at the United Center 7 days ago, and like, you can't sing about because everyone there is listening, waiting on to see if he's going to say something about Nicole, right? And if he has a lyric about, I'm not saying he should have changed it to the 25-year-old on stage, but he's going to change it. He's going to change the lyric.
Like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to skip.
No, okay.
Then what should he have sang?
But here's an example. My favorite band is the Avett Brothers. One of the guys in this band has a song about his wedding. Let's get married. It's a very adorable song. He still sings it because people love that song.
But there's a difference between the whole song is about something versus one lyric. One lyric's a very easy thing to change.
Tweak.
Or just to not change.
Little change.
Here's what I'll say about that, okay? Nicole Kidman, she is hot. And she can move on, too, if she wants to date a 25-year-old.
Do you guys remember, Michael, you probably remember this. Do you remember the thing? Was it on Letterman, the line that Nicole Kidman said after she got divorced from Tom Cruise?
What was it?
What did she say?
I can wear heels now.
Oh,
so
I do remember that.
I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see what her line's going to be.
I don't think Keith Urban is as short as Tom Cruise, but
That's true.
Remember that.
That's hard, though. That's
oh my
sad.
gosh, yeah.
That's so sad.
It is, because I agree with Michael. It's like, but 19 years, Michael, in Hollywood, that is, I would say that's, I mean, what is that, a top 0.01% marriage?
Oh, yeah, 0.00001. I mean, that's that may as well be forever in Hollywood.
Exactly.
Right?
For it to happen like while he's on tour, like, listen, like, I'm not comparing situations. I'm not saying that obviously we're in the place that those two are in, but like when you have a job that's in front of a camera, going through personal things can be really hard. This is like, I was engaged and the engagement got broken off, and I had to deal with all of that in front of these. And he's on tour in front of thousands and thousands. To go through a divorce and being in front of thousands of people, knowing that they all know what's going on. I have some sympathy for the guy.
For sure.
Hey.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Wait.
Yeah, and I think it's tough. You feel bad for their kids. They've got 14 and 17-year-old. They're able to read about all this, obviously, and it's become such a big story. So, yeah, you feel for them and the family, absolutely.
And
all right, well, hold on.
We don't know the ins and outs, but I'm just saying if we took it for, like, face value that he fell for this younger lady and then broke up.
I'm not saying I don't feel bad for her. I feel bad for both of them. The difference being is that she's not out really in the press. She's not doing a press junket while trying to do this. Like he's on tour. She's at least can kind of keep in the background, during that. Am I digging myself into a hole?
Keep going.
I'm not defending one or the other. I'm just saying he has to face thousands of people every single night,
going through
and she does not. Michael, for the love of God, save me.
Maybe she's not innocent.
I'm going to let you do your thing. No, I understand what you're saying. He's out there right now, and it just so happens that she's not promoting anything, promoting a show, so she can lay low. He doesn't have that ability to lay low. And, like, to the song, it's The Fighter. It's one of his more popular songs. The fans want to hear it, so he's got to play it. And, I could understand.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Not wanting to sing about your estranged wife.
All right, guys, this is all peanuts.
On the commercial break, okay?
All right, we tried to switch gears because one more topic that we want to get some of your thoughts on, and I hate to bring it down, everybody, but this is all peanuts compared to like the situation involving Michael, a situation that you actually caught us up on last week involving the pop singer David and Celeste Rivas, who's this 17-year-old, and her body was discovered, if memory serves, in the trunk of a Tesla that was found in a rental car lot in California. At the time, he was on tour. David was on tour in the Northeast, I believe, in the Seattle area, and I remember he canceled a couple shows at the time we checked in with you last. So get us kind of updated on these new police records that you guys, your newsroom, obtained these.
Yeah, and even more tragic, she was 15 now, and when she went missing, she was only 13 years old. She went missing in April of 2024. It sounds like from everything that we've heard and been told that she had a really troubled time at home and just a troubled life in general. In about a 13-month period, 14-month period, cops were dispatched out to her family home in the Los Angeles area. It's about 50 or so miles outside of LA. 11 times in that again, that 13 or so month period. Nothing major, but disturbances and things like that where they were dispatched out. And she had run away at certain periods of time. It's not that it was a one-time thing where she disappeared in April of 2024. She had run away a couple of times prior and had been returned. Sadly, this time she never came back, and she was missing until she was eventually found deceased. And it's a horribly sad story. Police trying to still figure out what happened. They have not named David a suspect, though they have raided his home. They've searched his home for blood. There are a lot of questions, and you're absolutely right. He was on tour when the body was found, but there is a lot of reason to suggest that her body was inside the vehicle for weeks before. So if this was a crime, and it wasn't an accidental death, say, if there was an actual crime here, it's been really hard nailing down when the crime happened, when her death happened. They did an autopsy. They're not even able to determine how she died. They're waiting for toxicology reports. So it's a really difficult investigation because of the length of time that passed in between. And I think everyone's taken a wait and see approach on this guy. He's a pretty big star and becoming bigger. But he had new music that was about to come out. A lot of companies and partners of his have pressed pause now, obviously trying to figure out, did he have anything to do with this horrible situation? So it's just a sad story. Again, she was 15 years old and she's gone.
Have we heard from him at all? And has he publicly spoken about this? Made a statement?
No.
Nothing?
No, he has not. And you're right. He was performing. He continued to perform for a couple of days after this happened, and I think it got to the point where it's just not possible to do it anymore because the story had gotten so much attention that he couldn't continue to tour. It just looked horrible, first of all, and I think people who were associated with him didn't want him touring. So he has not, though, to answer the question, he has not said anything yet, and I think fans and people are eager to hear him speak. They want to know what happened, because he did have some connection with this person, because there's photos, there's a lot of evidence to suggest that they might have been in some sort of, might have been a friendship, might have been a relationship, unclear, but they knew each other. That's a fact.
I'm seeing here too that there was some new surveillance, 2 different incidents, one to a liquor store.
Yeah. Because I think, there was some surveillance showing her in a dispute with a neighbor, and they're kind of having an argument seemingly back and forth. I think people are interested in the surveillance video because you want to see where she was, when she was alive, because again, it's unclear when she passed away. So I think if you see a video and it's from, pick random date, you could say, okay, obviously she was alive on that day, and it provides a timeline in many ways. So I think that's why, and people are just interested in what her life was like. Where was she living? Was she living on the street? What was going on with her? Because that can likely answer a lot of the questions here that are still unanswered.
One question is, in terms of the family's reaction to this, have we heard from the family at all? Because these police records you mentioned 11 times in 13 months, that's basically like a monthly visit to the household by police. Have we heard a thing from them? Because it doesn't exactly paint a good picture for what life was like in that household.
Right. No, I think that's a good point. And we spoke with one of Celeste Rivas' ex-boyfriends, and he said that he felt like she was not treated well at home, and that was his experience, and that was kind of his perception of the situation. But he said she was not treated right. Her mom there's a language barrier there, first of all. So she's kind of laid low. It's been, I think, a bit difficult for her to get her message out at times. But we have spoken with her mom. Her mom actually contacted her before they had identified Celeste Rivas as the girl, as police were trying to figure out who this was. Her mom contacted us and said, I think that's my daughter, because they had described some distinguishing marks, that she had tattoos and such. And she felt like that was her daughter. And ultimately then we called the police and said, hey, this mom thinks that could be her daughter. they contact mom, they start investigating, and sure enough, mom was right, sadly. So outside of that, she hasn't had much to say. Again, I think she's another person that people probably really want to hear from here.
All right, Michael Babcock, always appreciate you keeping us updated on the big things that you and your newsroom are working on. We appreciate it, sir, as always.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. I appreciate talking to you. I'll see you soon.
Bye, buddy. See you soon.
Thanks
see you
for
soon.
listening to us gab beforehand.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. I do think that's fascinating, though. Your whole trip, it makes me want to visit. I would be like going to the museum.
All the stuff. Yeah, it's a good blend of stuff.
They have good adult beverage locations around, because I feel like that would be also a fun combo.
I mean, come on, it's suburb of Boston.
Yeah.
Boston.
Got,
Sam Adams.
I was just about. I had a Sam Adams or two.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm not even like necessarily a Sam Adams guy, but I was like, you got to
in Boston.
They got
you
a
got
good
to do it.
Oktoberfest, Sam Adams. It's like really kind of pumpkin-y. It's very delicious.
We're getting to that time of year.
Oh, we are
Caitlin,
there.
a little six-pack of
They have. We visited did a tour of a cemetery in Boston, and one of the cemeteries is where Sam Adams is buried.
No
And
way.
it's across the street from a bar. And it was described as the only place you can have a cold Sam Adams across the street from an even colder Sam Adams.
Ah, there you go. Ba-doom.
Jake, that was really
And all these,
good.
like,
I didn't come up with it.
revolutionaries are buried around.
Paul Revere.
Wild.
Paul Revere, yeah.
Just wild.
That is wild.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, live on stage, MasterChef All-Stars is about to take over the stage in Waukegan at the Genesee Theater, and we are going to be joined by Chef Michael Leonard when we come back.
Trying to pitch your kids off on me during the commercial break.
I've already asked him twice.
Two things.
Uncle Jake.
Watch my
Uncle
kid
Jake.
at work. Can you take him?
Take him to the line.
I listen. I'm all about it, but when I give them back, they will have seen Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
And they will be able to quote Ezekiel 25:17 by the time I give them back.
My baby would be a genius because he can't even say mama, but
Challenge accept.
Come back.
He's gonna know some words. He'll know some words. Mama might not be one of them, but he's going to know. With a Quentin Tarantino movie, he's going to know some words.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
Anthony
All right,
knows.
you guys. All right,
Anthony
you guys.
knows.
Don't get me going.
The path of the righteous.
It's beset on
all sides.
I don't know.
Inequities of selfish. Oh, no. And the tyranny of evil men.
Okay, good.
We have one more.
Blessed is he.
I love it so much. Okay, we've got another Zoom, you guys. They're probably listening to us. And
Sorry.
Stop talking.
Sorry.
Live on stage, Master Chef All-Stars Live brings the high-stakes energy of America's favorite cooking competition directly to the stage. This brand new live tour blends head-to-head cooking battles, audience participation, and behind-the-scenes stories for a fast-paced, family-friendly experience.
That's so cool. Look at that.
Look at it.
That is unreal.
Chefs live in person. The tour meets Master Chef winners Michael Leonard from season 14, known for his bold, instinct-driven cooking. Jerome Hurt from season 9, a Southern chef and former educator, and season 15 finalist Rachel Sanchez and Julio
Figueredo.
What he said, known as the Fiery Cooks on the recent Master Chef Dynamic Duos. So Chef Michael Leonard joins us now to talk about this.
Hey, Chef.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Hello.
How's it
Good
going?
morning. Going well.
Good, good. Okay, so what are some of the challenges of doing a live show versus the recorded TV show?
I'd say the challenges are pretty similar, just because when we are doing the recorded show, we do have to perform live. We have to perform live in front of the judges, in front of Gordon Ramsay. And it's not that we have extra time or anything just because it's recorded. So I'd say it's a pretty similar challenge.
Similar challenge. Okay. In what ways do you think are the biggest differentiators, Chef, between the TV version and MasterChef Live? We kind of alluded to audience participation here for the live version.
Yes. Yeah, so the audience is able to get involved both by cheering, and we also do get the audience involved by bringing some people on stage. We have guest appearances as well. It's a lot of fun because it gives you the chance to interact with the show rather than just watching it on a TV.
And Chef, to that point, you know, I think so many of us, particularly I'm going to speak for myself, a guy who can't really cook. The way I judge you guys whenever I watch this show, I'm like, oh, I can't believe he burned the risotto as a guy who could not make risotto.
Yeah.
So I feel like getting the chance to bring the audience into the show probably, I'd imagine, gives them a greater appreciation for what it is you guys do.
Yeah, absolutely. Seeing it live, I mean, that's a lot of the feedback that I get sometimes after the show. They're like, wow, it's amazing what you guys are able to accomplish, you know, in such a time frame. It's seeing it live is a lot different than watching it on TV, because you get to feel the energy of the room. You get to feel the energy of us when we're, you know, stressed, under pressure, under the clock. So it's a lot of fun.
Chef, I have a question. This is kind of personal, but you know, on the show The Bear, where he goes home and he eats a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and Doritos on the couch, do you make yourself fancy meals every day, or are you also eating Lunchables when you need a break to eat?
My hobby, actually, when I'm bored, I like to cook. So I do actually, I do cook a lot for myself. And normally I'll make a lot of fresh pasta, things like that. But yeah, when I'm bored, and I like to experiment in the kitchen with food. So I'd say a lot of the times I am creating like fancy meals for myself.
Wow.
That is so cool. I'm so impressed by that. Chef, what is your own favorite aspect or part of the show?
Oh, it's got to be going to all these different cities and meeting all these new live crowds. You know, you feel the energy of the room, you feel how into it people are, and that's a lot of fun. But on top of that, getting to explore these cities when we go there, you know, we have a little bit of time before the show where we can go around, taste the local cuisine, and sometimes if we're lucky after the show, we'll have some time to go out and, you know, explore the city a little bit as well.
Do you notice differences in the audience in terms of their tastes or their enthusiasm as you go around to different cities?
100%, absolutely. There's always a slight difference, you can tell. I mean, some people are going to be bigger fans of some other people that are on the show. Like sometimes we might go somewhere and the crowd might be a bigger fan of Jerome, or, you know, we might go somewhere and they're like, wow, Michael, just depending on where we go. But there's also like a difference in, you know, how they like their food, how they like certain things cooked. But it's really interesting to just feel the different energies from all the different crowds.
Michael, I'm the entertainment reporter here at the station, and by nature of that, I get to interview a lot of cool celebrities, and I have all these interactions. And the question I often get is, who is the nicest person that you've ever interviewed? And the answer that I often give to people is Gordon Ramsay. I always say I think he is one of the all-time nicest people. He's done me favors, set me up at his restaurants. He's the nicest guy. But you have had a different sort of relationship with him than I have. Like, what has been your relationship with Gordon over the years? Because obviously he's not going to yell at me, but he might be yelling at you.
Right. No, I have to agree. I think Gordon Ramsay is an incredibly nice person. He's a mentor figure. He's a teacher, and he's also a jokester. He likes to joke around. He likes to have a good time. I'd say that Gordon Ramsay is just an incredible person. They say never meet your idols, but I loved meeting Gordon Ramsay. Yeah.
Okay, so again with my selfish question, because that's just my brain is working that way, because you are a professional chef, and I saw some desserts on some of this B-roll that we call it, the video of your live show. Is there a big difference when you're cooking things like dessert versus something more savory? Is it one more challenging than the other? Do you have any quick, fast tips for those of people who are watching right now who are like, ooh, I would like to try to cook something? Do you have any insider info?
Absolutely. I mean, I would say that savory is a lot. I don't want to say easier. Some people have their forte. Some people are better at baking, better at making sweets than they are at savory. But I'd say for me personally, I am definitely a savory cook. Not that I can't bake or make sweets or anything, but it's not my strong suit. My strong suit is 100% savory. Back to the idea of giving a little bit of advice, I'd say stick to what makes you tick, what you like to do. If you like being in the kitchen, you like sitting there and measuring out ingredients, and you're more of a scientific kind of person, then baking and pastry might be something that you'd be more interested in. But if you like going on the fly and you like cooking fast and experimenting with different ingredients and just kind of throwing things together, then you're going to be probably more suited to savory cooking.
You mentioned that this is your hobby. Even in your off time, the cameras are off. You're still cooking for yourself. Do you have any advice for people? I mean, my wife sometimes does the shop online for groceries.
Always.
But Chef, when you go to the grocery store, do you have any, like, I don't know, pieces of advice? My mom always says, oh, I always just she's a great cook. She always says, oh, I just grab what's good. And then I kind of base off the menu for the household there. What is your approach when you actually physically go into a grocery store?
So actually going to a grocery store is one of my favorite parts about cooking. I like looking at fresh, beautiful ingredients, and that's what actually gets me inspired to cook. Normally what I do is at first I'll take a stroll around like the proteins, just see what they have as far as like, steak, maybe I'm in the mood for seafood, and find a protein that I kind of want to cook for the night. And then I design the dish around that normally. Let's say I found shrimp, and then maybe I'll go to the section where everything's fresh, and I'll be like, oh, this spinach looks amazing. And then, oh, I see some garlic and, maybe some ginger and these things. And I just kind of build a meal around what these ingredients that are inspiring me. And then when I go home, I just try to conceptualize and put it all together the best that I can.
Michael, I love talking with chefs about the value of working in the service industry, because obviously most of us will never get to the place where you're at. But as someone who used to wait tables, I always say waiting tables was the most important job I ever had. And I think everyone at some point should work in the service industry. Can you just talk about the value of, if you have kids or if you're a young kid watching, just the value of just waiting tables and working in that industry, and whether or not you want to follow that as a career, it can be really valuable as a life lesson for so many other different career paths.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, I actually served tables for a while as well. It definitely is an interesting experience. It kind of gets you talking to different people. You get to see how really difficult it is to actually run a restaurant, what really goes on behind the scenes, and how important it is to, be sanitary, to do certain things inside of the kitchen. But on top of that, it gives you these interactions with people, and you get to build almost confidence through it, because especially serving. I remember serving, I built a lot of confidence just talking one-on-one with people and having all those interactions. But you also get a sense of what people like and don't like, especially in the service industry. Especially with cooking too, for back of house, I know that they experience a lot of stress, especially when they get slammed in the kitchen. I mean, I can't imagine pushing out, hundreds and hundreds of steaks, in a certain amount of time frame. So yeah.
Rite of passage for a lot of people.
Very much so.
All right, Chef, we really appreciate your time. Have a great tour. We appreciate you joining us this morning, sir.
Thank you so much. I had a great time.
All
Thanks,
right,
buddy.
we did as well. And again, it is coming. MasterChef All-Stars live at the Genesee
I'd like to
Theater.
see that. I think that'd be really cool.
It'd be a fun
So
thing
great
to
show.
do, right near Kaplan's house.
Yeah.
October
We can all
11th.
Party.
crash
October
at the
11th.
Kaplan Estate.
7 p.m. Yeah, the after party's going to
Yes.
The after party's going to be there. Tickets, you can find them at MasterChefLiveTour.com. We'll be back with more Chicago Now right after this.
Chicago Now is bringing the heat with your chance to win tickets to MasterChef All-Stars Live. Past winners and fan favorites take on cooking challenges live on stage. Watch Chicago Now weekdays at 10 for more information or visit fox32chicago.com/contests. MasterChef All-Stars Live coming to Chicagoland October 11th.
Welcome back to Chicago Now. It goes without saying, the 1994 classic, The Lion King, one of the all-time great animated films. But if you've never seen it on the Broadway stage as a musical in front of your eyes, I got to tell you, it is, I've seen, you know, not to be that guy, but I've seen a majority of the Broadway musicals out there. It is one of the most incredible, for lack of a better word, experiences I've ever seen. And that's why I keep going back time and time.
How many times have you seen The Lion?
Oh, God, I've probably, no joke, seen it 5 times or so.
Yeah.
It's back in Chicago at the Cadillac Palace Theatre starting tomorrow night. And when you come out, you're going to see Aaron Nelson. You're going to see Brene K. Thomas. And that's going to make it all the better. Guys, so excited to have you in. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
I mean, I use the word experience because for people who have never come out and seen it before, it is unlike anything you've ever seen. And I always love, and again, I don't want to ruin it for people, but I love watching the faces of both the kids and the adults during the opening number. What is that like for you guys when you can just tell? Because I think it takes 5 seconds and you've won that crowd over. It's
Absolutely,
done.
absolutely. I think the opening number, not giving it away, it's very interesting as a cast member to see the faces of a 5-year-old or a 50-year-old be the exact same. I want to give it away so bad.
I know. I mean, well, we could say that if you've seen the movie, which at this point it's a 31-year spoiler alert, the opening number is Circle of Life.
Yes.
But it's how you guys interpret it that makes it unreal.
Yeah, Circle of Life is amazing. I play the cheetah in The Lion King, so my
Wait,
first...
are we seeing you right now?
Yeah, no, it's not me.
Okay, got it. But it's a similar kind of process.
That's the beginning of the Circle of Life. So I'm very honored and excited for you guys to see this show.
Where are you guys both from? Are you guys Chicagoans?
Yes.
Chicagoans, south side of Chicago.
Very
We're here.
Now, will you have family in the crowd?
Oh my God.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Family, mentors, everyone.
Old
Full
dance
circle
teachers.
moment.
So full circle moment. Tell us what the emotions are, Brene. We'll start with you just being able to perform in front of your
Yeah, this is where I
crowd.
started. So much emotions are like running through me. Like my mentors is gonna be there, family and friends. Like I'm so excited because this is my first professional performance in my city. So
Come on.
Congratulations.
What is the rule of thumb when the friends are there, when the families are there, when the mentors are there?
Yes.
How many like Brene?
right, breathe.
Yeah, it's us.
It's us.
Yeah, like what's the rule? Have you given up? Do you have to say like, listen, like I'm excited
I
you're coming,
know,
but you guys
yeah.
got to keep it down,
can't.
or can we let it out?
You can let it out.
Love it.
Let it out.
Love it.
Aaron, how about for you?
It's crazy because at the Cadillac Palace where the show is playing, I used to be an usher.
No.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think my boss was still working there last time I checked. So that's unreal in itself. So it's my Super Bowl, really.
Have you?
That's so cool though. Like
crazy.
working at an there's something almost archetypal about this because I'm guessing working as an usher there, you got to see a lot of live performances. How formative was that for you as an aspiring performer?
It was incredible. I remember there were times. I remember Jersey Boys was there, and I was an usher, and I was standing back of house, and there was a guy standing next to me, and I was asking him about the show, and it was randomly Cameron McIntosh, who was a big theater producer.
Sure.
So just being able to rub elbows and just watch shows night after night after night for free, you know,
that's awesome.
really gave me so much as a performer.
This is a stupid question. Is that a pretty common practice? Are the ushers oftentimes aspiring actors? Is that pretty common practice in theater?
You know what? You never know. But yeah, there are a lot of artists, especially in Chicago.
Sure.
It's a theater town, so a lot of people take advantage of being able to get that close to theater. You know, for me, it was about half of us were in the arts.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's common, yeah.
Brene, okay, this is obviously one of the most competitive career tracks you could ever choose. Okay, tell us a little bit about this. Is your first professional show, very big deal. Tell us about your journey here. How old were you when you started performing? Did you study this in college? All that kind of thing. Kind of paint a picture for your path to get to this point.
Yeah, so I started dancing at 9 years old at Sammy Dyer Dance Theater, which was in Hamilton Park. I went to Chicago High School for the Arts, which is Chi Arts, and I went to summer intensives in New York City. I did Ailey. I was in the second company with Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, Ailey 2. So this is like my first time in the Broadway world, but I've been in concert dance. So yeah, so this is a whole new world. I'm singing and dancing.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Aaron, what about you? What was your?
Well, I had a very interesting track. I graduated from Columbia College, Chicago, but before that, I attended the Merit School of Music here. I got a tuition-free conservatory audition and got into that. And I started dancing at, we talked about it, CMDC, which is Chicago Multicultural Dance Center with Homer Bryant. And I was a guy that I used to perform in front of Navy Pier. I used to be one of the guys dancing in front of the buckets at Navy Pier. So I've been in and around performance for a very, very long time.
What is the mindset? Because I'm reading here that you were the understudy Scar, Simba, and Mufasa.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, we're talking about three.
So at any moment, for people that are unfamiliar with that concept, the understudy is basically you're ready to go in case someone gets sick or something. But like, those are three major. So most actors, you just know one part. At any 5 minutes before a show, you could just be you're Mufasa tonight, you're Scar tonight. You're so that's.
What is the mindset? How do you kind of handle that mentally when you're getting ready for work that day that you could, someone could be sick?
Yeah, you never know. I think it's all about taking care of the person, right? You keep a nice neutral and just stay open-minded and stay ready and pliable and supple, because there are some nights I've been told, yeah, you're going to be Simba tonight, and then 10 minutes before the show, oh, you're going to do this. And there have been nights where I've started the show as one thing and ended the show as something.
Oh, my God.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk about having to be adaptable.
Yeah.
So do you know every line of this performance backwards and forwards?
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead and get started. We're just going to have you do the whole thing as a one-man show.
Absolutely.
Do you, as a member of the ensemble, just being around it so much, do you tend to memorize everything?
Yeah, every line in Confrontation, which is in Act 2, is like, oh, wait, I know that line. I know exactly where we're at in the show. It's crazy.
Of the three, Simba, Mufasa, Scar, do you have a favorite? Like, if you're going to go on stage and do one, I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, Scar's delicious.
I had a yes.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about sort of the artistry of this show, because I'm a big believer that necessity is the mother of invention. Sure. It's hard to recreate the plains of Africa on a Broadway stage and recreate animals and make it believable and make it not just seem like goofy actors, and the way they do it. So I'm sorry, you haven't seen it yet.
I have not seen it.
The way, listen, so you can see, look, the way they do the lions' faces. And correct me if I'm wrong. There are moments where, like, when you guys lean down and the face comes down. It's just the artistry. Was this Julie Taymor?
It was Julie, and Michael Curry working together to design the puppets. But the double event is what you're speaking of. So it's all about, Julie always had the vision of the double event. You see the puppetry and the actor. You see the animal and the actor at the same time. Cool. So the use of the Balinese movement with the puppetry really brings it together, you know.
It's absolutely unreal. And also, too, you know, obviously this is an animated movie that we all know and love, but it seems to also be paying tribute, is a love letter to, like, a culture, like, to different African, like, I feel like it's done so beautifully well.
Everything in the show is very, like, human and relatable. So that's why this show is, like, dedicated to people of all ages. Like, anyone can come see this show.
I like how he phrased it, where the look on the 5-year-old's face is exactly like the 80-year-old. Brene, do you have a favorite kind of, I guess we got to talk around without ruining it, but is there a moment in the show that you feel like really connects with the audience and stands out for you?
It would have to be Canyon Cross, which is in Act 1. It's where I don't want to give it away, but it's one of my favorite moments where I have to, like, be, like, in the cheetah. I have to bring, like, the movement to life. So, like, in the cheetah, because it's like we're in the legs, I'm in this body, this is like 15 pounds in front of me. So, like, just bringing everything to life.
You guys are going to hate me because I'm just going to spoil a thing. Because we're talking about a story that's based on a movie that's 30 years old. If you haven't seen it by this point, sorry. Sorry. But the reason I want to bring that up is because there are a lot of kids out there who maybe this is their introduction to The Lion King. And the reason I say that, the last time I saw it on stage, sorry, spoiler alert, when Mufasa dies, I heard a kid yell out, Mufasa, get up. And you could just feel every heart break in that crowd, and it's a reminder that this is a story that is being passed down to generations. There are, I know I'm talking about, if you haven't seen it, but there are people who have not seen it that aren't familiar with the story, that never read Hamlet in high school.
Yeah.
And what is that like for when it's the kids seeing it for the first time?
Well, I think that's part of the beautiful responsibility we have as artists, and the beautiful thing about this show and why it transcends. I think it deals with very serious topics extremely well. We talk about death. Extremely well. It's very delicate, and I think the way that Julie's designed the puppets, the costumes, and the storytelling, it just makes it accessible for everyone. You know what I mean? And just seeing how Simba navigates the journey of being an adolescent, going through death and coming back, dealing with, you know, things like depression. You know what I mean? Simba goes through a lot in the show. You know, I think that's why it stands the test of time. I think it's just relatable and real.
That's so interesting, because if you think, it came out in '94. I would have been 6 when Lion King came out, and I guess it was, in terms of pop culture, kind of my introduction to death in pop culture and how we deal with that. Do you guys remember the very first time you guys ever watched that original movie?
Yeah, it's probably on my VCR.
You guys remember the pearl cases? Remember the old Disney pearl case, the pearl snap cases?
I have a 4-year-old, and when Jake told that story about what that kid, it like breaks your heart, what he said, but just the fact that, you know, I was reading him the Lorax last night. He had not read the Lorax by Dr. Seuss before. Enthralled. And it's the pictures that got him. And I just wonder what you can tell us about, visually speaking. Jake was alluding to the fact that you got to recreate the Serengeti right here in a Chicago theater. How three-dimensional, Brene, is this performance? Does it all happen on the stage? Are there any surprises to be experienced as well?
Yeah, so and He Lives in You. We have
if you know.
Yeah, we have like a 9-mass piece that, like, some people in the ensemble, we hold these pieces together to make this big picture. So, like, some stuff are like 3-dimensional, like some stuff that we have like come out on the screen. So it's an adventure. I don't want to give it away, but you guys should come see the show.
That's the tough part. A lot of things we just can't give away.
It's all the more reason to check it out.
It's an experience.
Exactly right.
So this is a 3-week run, correct? Okay, where you guys go? You guys going somewhere next after this?
Yes,
okay.
we have more. We're going to Denver as well, and then we're going to be in Vegas right after.
Oh, okay. Lion King in Vegas. Almost
you know that's going to come to the what show or movie?
The
just
Sphere?
came to the Sphere.
Oh, Wizard of Oz is in the Sphere? Yeah, Lion King in the you guys in the Sphere would be really cool.
It would be.
Oh my God,
Really cool. All right, Lion King's playing at the Cadillac Palace Theatre October 3rd.
In the middle of the show, I'm just gonna go, hey, it's me.
It's me.
There tomorrow night.
Yeah, I feel like they love that. Yeah, I feel like the actors love when you shout at them on the screen.
But we need the energy.
We need the energy.
I got you.
Good luck to you guys. So fascinating to talk to you. I'm hoping maybe I'll take the boys.
You got to.
Okay,
you got it.
week on October 3rd through the 19th at the Cadillac Palace Theatre.
One of the all-time great shows.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys for being here.
Back with more Chicago Now in just a moment.
Halloween?
Welcome back, 10:52. Thank you for joining us here on Chicago Now with some behind-the-scenes antics I'm not even going to mention. The whole group here.
Don't.
If you'd care to share.
I do not care. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're diving into the love life of Jake Hamilton. All right. If you've ever been stuck wondering what book to pick up next, our next guest actually has the answer for you, and there's some science behind this.
Ooh, interesting.
John Warner, he writes the Biblioracle column for the Chicago Tribune, where he takes the last 5 books you've read and uses them to recommend your next great read.
That's fascinating.
So it's algorithmic.
Yeah.
It is algorithmic. It's part book matchmaking, part literary intuition, and this has become a must-read for Chicago book lovers. John, thank you for joining us here on Chicago Now, sir.
Oh, my pleasure. Good morning to all of you.
Okay, for viewers who are not familiar, what exactly is the Biblioracle, and how did the idea for this column come about?
So the Biblioracle is a column I've been doing for the Chicago Tribune for right around 13 years now. And the idea came to me just kind of in a flash many, many years ago, where people would go to Amazon and get the recommendation, sort of what other people have read, this is what you should read. And I just thought I could do a better job than Amazon. And so on a website that I used to write for called The Morning News, I put up a discussion post that said, hey, if you give me the last 5 books you read, I'll tell you what to read next. And I got about 350 requests in about an hour, and I told everyone a different book. And I realized there was a demand for this, and so then when the Chicago Tribune, back when Printers Row book section was still going on, needed people to write for them, I pitched it, and I've been doing it ever since.
Awesome.
So John, do you keep it in the same genre? Is that how you guess the next book, or do you try to mix it up and take a left turn with these book recommendations?
Yeah, it really depends. I mean, if somebody is exclusively reading fiction, I'm not going to sort of give them a 1,200-page military biography or something like that. But you know, sometimes people have a mix of things, or what I see is they'll maybe be stuck in a bit of a rut. Lately, one of the things that I tend to see happening is they're reading everything that Jenna Bush or Reese Witherspoon has recommended. And those are perfectly good books, and I like many of them, but then I'll try to zag where they've been zigging and give them something they otherwise might not have been aware of, just as a way of opening some new avenues for their reading.
Yeah, see, I wanted to follow up on that because I particularly this time of year, I read a lot of Stephen King. So, you know, I'm thinking if I come to you and I'm like, oh, here are the last 5, and it's 5 Stephen King novels, to what degree do you go like, listen, I get it, but like, we're going to take you on a different direction this time around. Like, I'd imagine you probably wouldn't recommend a 6th Stephen King novel.
No. I'm going to send you somewhere else, but I'm going to be aware of the kinds of things that you're interested in, which are, depending on the Stephen King, it might be suspense, it might be horror, it might be some element of maybe a little bit of gore. And I will try to find another author or another book that maybe hit some of those notes, but not the same ones, right? We don't want to eat the same food every day. We don't necessarily want to read the same book over and over. So I always try to give people, it's always something I've read, right? So it's a book I can sort of vouch for in terms of quality, and hopefully it connects with the reader at the right time.
What is your process? Is this all intuition and basically you've got it all up here in your brain because you've read so many books, or do you kind of follow a process?
Process would be a very strong word for what happens. It's a lot of gut instinct. It's a lot of having read a lot of books over many years of reading, and also I think understanding the nature of what readers respond to in particular books, whether it's character or language or story or plot or setting or those kinds of things. And I just try to sort of get in touch with it. And really what I mostly end up doing when I have these requests is when I'm at home, I wander around my house looking at my bookshelves for inspiration. If that doesn't come, I have some databases of a bunch of stuff I've read. So it really is a sort of gut instinct. It's why I called myself the Biblioracle. We don't expect oracles to work on a rational basis. The fates bring the words and the information down, and I try to be there to receive it.
I could imagine this would be a very difficult job if you have to read books that you're not really interested in because other people are. You've got a list here, fiction and nonfiction books that you recommend. Are these books that you like, and can you give us a little description of them?
Yeah, these are all books published in 2025 that have just stuck with me in one way or another since I read them, and books that I think, you know, if you read the description, you'll know whether or not this is a book you're going to like.
All right.
Okay, one of them is The Seduction Theory by Emily Adrian. Jake, I'm recommending that for you, buddy.
Seduction Theory, I mean,
Seduction Theory. How spicy is this one? How spicy is this one,
This is a very clever, funny novel set on a college campus. It involves a sort of love triangle. But the twist is that the book itself is presented as the master's thesis of one of the characters. So she is sort of writing the story of the two people she's entangled with in her own voice. And these are two of her professors who are going to read this. So the tension sort of builds as you realize the story she's telling is something these other characters are going to have to read.
Oh, wow. That is
do you have a book recommendation for coworkers who like prying into your personal life?
Yes, it's called Mind Your Own Business. But no, not off the top of my head, but I'm sure if you gave me enough time to walk around my house, I'd find just the right.
Fair enough. I love it. The Biblioracle himself, John Warner. What's the easiest way people can find you online?
You can get me at my Tribune at my Tribune column at the Chicago Tribune every Sunday. You can read my associated newsletter, The Biblioracle Recommends, at biblioracle.substack.com, and you can email me your book requests at biblioracle.gmail.com.
Really?
So cool. I'd like to do that with movies.
Chicago.
I think that'd be fun to do with movies.
You should be the movie oracle. You are my movie.
I appreciate you.
My friend. All right, John Warner.
John, that was super cool, man.
My pleasure. Anytime.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, we're gonna.
That was fascinating.
The Beast Library.
Oh, with the ladder.
With the ladder.
With the ladder, you got to do it. Yeah.
Around my house looking at the books that he has.
I actually want to buy books just so I can have a ladder.
Yeah, just a ladder.
Library ladder in my house. Yeah. It smells of rich mahogany.
Rich.
Yes, indeed. We are going to take a quick break while we dive more into Jake Hamilton's personal life and switch hosts here. Tia and Gabby are up right after this. Stay with us here on Chicago Now.
But really,
back to the 11 o'clock hour of Chicago Now. I'm Gabriela Primus.
And I'm Tia. It is pre-Friday.
Yes.
Are you guys ready?
Friday.
Jake is with us.
Yes, I'm ready to go. Always love Friday.
We have a big weekend planned, but we also have a big show planned.
We do.
As we do on Thursdays, we're talking to Block Club Chicago, and we're digging a little deeper into Chicago neighborhoods, as we typically do.
Yes, we do.
But some of the stuff that we're talking about with Michael, he's going to talk about federal agents detaining people outside of Bronzeville shelter, which we've been following all day here on Good Day Chicago, as well as a new fresh market in Austin that's opening. We know that they've been plagued by some food access issues. And then later,
yes,
we are talking to the Ice Cube.
Just waking up.
What? Wait, I'm sorry, you guys got Ice Cube?
God. Yes.
Jake,
yes. Why you interrupt me?
I'm sorry. Never again. I'm sorry. Wait. Reset. Take two.
2 out of the 4 days so far this week, Tia has started with
with rapping. Yeah, you're right.
It's pretty incredible.
I got to ask him if he thinks I have a career.
Too. You know, I did.
That's true. Yeah, I got something ready for him.
Yeah, I'm gonna have it ready
while we talk to Jake. Yeah, but he's going to be touring for the first time, headlining for the first time in 10 years. He's coming to the United Center on Monday.
That's going to be a show.
It is going to be a really good show.
Can you guys ask him, when are we getting the next Friday?
Okay, we'll
I've been waiting on a Good Friday movie since the first Friday.
I know. All of them were good.
Were they though?
To me.
Were they though? Hopefully he's not on yet.
Were they though?
Anyways, we also have
Jake you're trying to get us in trouble.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So excited to see
Friday after next.
Yes.
But anyways.
Yes. Can we? So I walk into work this morning, and one of our producers came over to me and says, "Wow, I can't believe Glenn Powell's going to be in studio today.
Yeah.
And I said, Glenn Powell's not
in studio
today.
You had tricked a couple of people.
I didn't, and I felt bad. No, we have Glenn Powell on the show, but it is a pre-recorded interview.
Okay.
Because he has a new series out that's a lot of fun. It's streaming now on Hulu. It's called Chad Powers. And the best way I can describe it is it's Rudy meets Mrs. Doubtfire. So basically, he is this disgraced college quarterback who does something terrible and basically just no one wants anything to do with him. But he wants one more shot to prove that he has what it takes. But in order to do so, he puts on a lot of makeup and pretends to be this guy named Chad Powers and goes to a small college's open tryouts.
Wow.
And so he has this character that he creates named Chad Powers, who's under all this makeup. And I brought up the fact that I interviewed Eddie Murphy one time, who obviously has a long history of makeup and playing different characters. And he told me a great story that when he was doing Coming to America, he would walk around the studio lot as the different characters from the barbershop and would keep doing it until the person wouldn't go, Eddie, I know it's you. And he said once people stopped recognizing him, he knew, okay, I got this. So I wanted to know, did he kind of put Chad Powers out there in public? Did he go in makeup and then go out there and try it? And apparently there are a lot of baristas out there who served coffee to Chad Powers
Had no idea.
and had no idea they were serving coffee
Don't tell
to
me he
Glenn
ruined his
Powell.
pretty face.
You'll see.
You here to try out? What's your name? Jay.
But Eddie Murphy told me one time that when he was testing out the makeup for the different characters in Coming to America, he would walk around the studio lot in the makeup to see if anyone recognized him. And when it got to a point that they didn't, he knew that he was set. So I'd love to know, what is the craziest place you went to, the craziest interaction you had with someone while you were in the full Chad Powers makeup?
Let's see. I mean, I definitely toured this thing around a bunch of coffee shops, you know, in Hollywood. You know, just to see. Some of them are more grotesque than others. We went through the Georgia Stadium. Nobody recognized me in the Georgia Stadium. Then we went on halftime, and then they did.
Yeah.
You know, but for the most part, like, yeah. I mean, I gotta say, we had the best hair and makeup team in the business on this thing. So I had a feeling it was pretty bulletproof. But I think we got away with it. He feels like a fully, yeah.
He looks very. You got to remember, most of the time that I'm with this cat, he's got prosthetics on. So when I would see him like this, it was always very shocking to me. It was like another guy. It was that different. But I was used to this. I was used to Chad.
Chad, why don't you remind the game day viewers where you're from?
West Virginia.
Stay away from backstory and factoids.
And what part of West Virginia?
So if you go west in West Virginia, the westest of the west of Virginia.
When you would go to the coffee shops to test it out, would you do the Chad voice?
I would try out different voices. This is before I had the voice nailed down. So what
were the variations?
They were, I mean, everything you can imagine. I was kind of throwing the kitchen sink. I knew I wanted to do something Southern, but it's like, yeah, you're just sort of trying it. Because I mean, the accent's not from a place. That is a man shooting from the hip with something so strange, you know, and it sort of evolves over the series where he kind of settles into something that feels a little more consistent. But it's not from, like, he says he's from West Virginia, but he's not. It's not like, so when I would go in there, I'd be trying out all sorts of weird stuff just to see how it sort of sounded. But yeah, there's somebody out there that got, you know, some people gave me my coffee order faster than others. Like, please get out of my shop.
Hey, you take your helmet off. I'm going to leave it on. Why? You know, in this helmet, I feel strong. Like a strong, powerful male.
When you're the best looking guy in Hollywood, I guess the role that you take is the one that covers up your face. But no, it's really funny. I've seen all, I want to say, is it 6 or 8 episodes, but they're all like 30, 35 minutes apiece. So it's quick to fly through. And having seen the entire first season, the way it ends without giving it away made me instantly go, oh, there's got to be a season 2. Like, it's a lot of fun, and he's kind of like the guy right now.
He is. He's in so much stuff.
Yeah, he's got another movie coming out in November. Yeah.
When I saw him in this role, the first thing I thought was he really didn't need the makeup. He looks like a quarterback, you know?
He does.
Physically, his face, everything just screams American quarterback with the voice.
Yes.
How long did he practice that? Because that is so far off from his normal voice.
Well, you know, it kind of sounds like, you know, he tries out different things because the whole idea is that he is playing this guy named Russ, who in order to do this has to create a character. But the guy he's playing is not an actor. He doesn't really know how to do it. So if you think about the story, he wouldn't be able to come up with this great voice. It stands to reason that the voice would be ridiculous. The voice would be almost borderline stupid because it would be the best this guy could do. Yeah. Exactly. So you know, they do a really good job of making you believe that because there is there is a suspension of disbelief where you have to go like, okay, could he have fooled? Because you know, it gets to a point where the character, like, you know, he's on college, you know, he's on television, he's playing college football, you know, and you have to believe like, okay, he's fooled everyone. Or has he, kind of thing. It's good. I think you guys, and it also is, you know, a football show in football season, you know. Perfect. Because we have no Bears game this weekend.
Well. Yeah, that's true. Just binge it.
Exactly.
Would you compare it to any other kind of TV show?
The closest thing that I could say is, you know, like it's got that Rudy feel, but it's also, you know, I feel weird making that Rudy meets Mrs. Doubtfire comparison, but it's the closest thing I can think of, but. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It is, I will tell you, you know, they don't do like movie ratings for television, but it's pretty R-rated. There are some things because he's not a very nice guy. You know, this guy who's looking. You know, he does. Yeah, he says some things, and I made a joke with the guys. There are some lines in there that I kind of thought, technically this is it's Hulu. Hulu's owned by Disney, right? Which means that this is in the same vein as Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty. And some of the lines that are said in this show, I thought, this is the same company that puts out Cinderella.
And was this, when you say they're, you know, a little controversial, or are they sexy? Is it salacious? Is it sexual? Is it violent?
It's vulgar for the sake of comedy. You know what? It's you know, it's
okay.
It's streaming. It's a streaming series. You know, they don't have to abide by the same rules that we abide by. But there are just a couple of lines where I thought, whoo, that's a Disney line now. That's technically in the Disney arsenal.
Here's what I will say that is a plus. As a person that has Hulu and has kids, you can safeguard that stuff. Where you know, you have to put a code in before you proceed.
Oh, that's good.
So you know, your 2-year-old doesn't know that.
Especially because like Disney Plus combines them.
Yeah, they need to know.
Like Disney Plus, since Disney Plus and Hulu are the same company, it's all together. Right. So yeah, that's a smart move.
Yeah.
Okay, knowing that Glenn Powell's in so much stuff, is he a nice guy?
Nicest guy. So here's what I can tell you. The very first time I interviewed him was for Top Gun Maverick. And his family was there. And at the time, keep in mind, like, he wasn't really, well, we were all there for Tom, right? You know, and, you know, at the time, none of us really knew. Like, Glenn Powell was paired with 2 other acters at the junket. Like, now, these days, you know, but he was just the nicest guy, and then he was really great in that movie. But like I said, we were all focused, but we all kind of had this vibe. And I'll give you a little behind the scenes story. I originally did not book that interview, and I reached out to Glenn because Glenn, like, we've done every interview for his stuff since then.
He said that so casually.
I reached out. I slid into the DMs and said, "Hey, Glenn, I didn't get added to the list. Would love to talk with you about this, man." And about 5 minutes later, I got an email saying, "Hey, you've been added to the list." So I'm going to go as far as saying, yeah, Glenn Powell's a very nice guy.
Is it uncommon? I love that. And then is it uncommon to hear from you've been doing this a long time, from actors saying, well, to get into the role, I went in the public as this?
I think someone like that, I mean, at this point, he's so big that it's not to be like overly dramatic, but it can be potentially dangerous for someone big to be walking out in public. So I think he had to really believe in the transformation, in the makeup and stuff, because, you know, I've been at these press junkets, I've been at these premieres, and, you know, it's crazy to think, you know, I think, you know, someone like The Rock or, you know, but and people make fun of when they say, like, oh, what's The Rock need a security guard for? He needs a security guard because people lose their freaking minds when they see a celebrity like that. Because I think so often people don't think they're going to see, and they forget to act like a normal human being.
Have you been with Jake in public? It's crazy. Yeah. Let me tell you.
I don't mean to brag. I have dozens of fans.
Underwear thermal.
Dozens.
It's crazy.
What did you say?
Oh, you heard what she said. The 11 o'clock hour of Chicago Now gets I thought the 10 o'clock hour of Chicago Now was nuts.
Now, this is salacious.
Yes.
I have to ask you, you've been doing this a while. What is the craziest thing you've encountered, maybe without revealing who the actor or actress was, when you're doing this, especially when you've been in person? With
my
some of these
mind
people are
immediately
getting ready on Zoom. And they don't know you're there.
Sure I'm going to think of a better answer later, but I will tell you, I was interviewing an actor who was in a movie with someone who he had just started dating. And the two actors, they had them in separate rooms across the hall from each other at the Four Seasons. And they specifically were saying, listen, do not talk to them about dating each other. Like, we're here for the movie, don't ask about their personal lives. And I'll never forget, when you do these interviews, you're waiting in a chair outside the room for the next, it's kind of like a line, it's like a processing line, right? And all of a sudden, the door slams open. And basically the actor almost is throwing the previous reporter out, saying like, you were not supposed to ask about that. How dare you? Da-da. And the reporter was screaming back at him like, it is my right to ask about this. It is a da-da-da-da. And so he just, they get him out of there. And this actor, who is a very intimidating actor, who I've interviewed since, and he brings this point.
Is he still dating the person?
Is married to the person.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll never forget. At this time, I would have been 18. Like, I just started out. I was terrible. So I'm like slinking in my chair, and I'll never forget him looking at me, going, "Let's go," and walks back. And I was just like, "Okay, let's go." So that was sort of the first time where I was just like, "What business am I in?"
Did it take a while for you? But you're so comfortable on camera, and I know that I've seen earlier clips of you, like, you're so chill with celebrities and stuff, but has there been instances, like, early in your career where you stopped acting like a human, like, where you just kind of lost fanned out?
I geek out about, I always say that the people that make me nervous, the people that I fan out about, are the people who were famous when I was a kid. Like, the people that I grew up with, like if I grew up watching you on VHS, or if you made a movie that made me fall in love with movies. So the people that I geek out on are Spielberg, Scorsese, Tarantino, or someone like Harrison Ford, someone that's got like the legacy of, and those are, it's not so much that I geek out, I just want them to like me so badly that I try so hard to impress them with, and sometimes the danger is I try to, the questions that I ask can sometimes be so overly complicated because I so want them to know that I'm a movie fan. And there's nothing like asking a question that takes me 4 minutes to get out, and you can tell like 30 seconds in, Harrison Ford is going, what the hell
is he talking about?
Me? But I'll never forget my very first time interviewing Harrison Ford and just gushing about Han Solo and Indiana Jones, particularly Han Solo, who he does not like talking about. And I just remember realizing, it took me a few Harrison Ford interviews to go, oh, don't bring up Star Wars. Just don't, and it's just the fact that we're in the business to be able to say, well, it took me 4 Harrison Ford interviews to figure him out. The fact that we're provided that luxury is,
it's a beautiful thing.
I have a story for you guys.
Ooh.
On Friday last week, guess who I saw at Tavern on Rush?
Who?
Vince Vaughn.
No way.
Yeah, I was sitting in there having a glass of wine with my husband. I was, and actually I have a really horrible, which I thought was super sneaky picture of him. But also out there was our own Dawn Hasbrook, and she was sitting around the corner, and so I just like walked by, you know, casual, because I don't have the guts to go up to a celebrity that big. And she tried getting the maitre d' to talk to him, and he's like, yeah, he's not really into like pictures and stuff like that. But in the future, should I just go for it and just let them say no?
I mean,
they usually say don't.
Yeah, I've always been under the understanding that if you're at a dinner table, that's kind of that, or if they're with their kids, that I've always been told that's when they're on their own.
You can come up to me anytime. It's fine.
And I do. My mom.
I don't care. It's whatever.
We had a great night, Tia and I, at the Emmys years back. We were both nominated. Only one of us won, and I'll give you a hint, it wasn't me. And my mom was my date that night.
Your mom.
And she loves you so much.
Tell her I love her.
About. I think she's probably watching. She watches. She loves you guys.
I love that. I want to ask you this before we let you go. Has there ever been a celebrity that hit on you and you had to keep it professional?
Listen.
Come on, tell it.
Look at his soft eyes. Look at his.
It's had to happen at least a couple of times.
Angelina, if you're watching, I've told you. You have to stop calling. You have to. No, it hasn't been.
Are you kidding me?
I don't know.
There has to be at least one. Maybe you just didn't know.
Or maybe you didn't. Maybe you tried to keep it too professional. And yeah.
I have friends in the industry who are really great female reporters who have been hit on by some of the male actors. I just don't think it works the other way as often. I'm also not. At the end of the day, you have to keep in mind, like when we interview these people, they're promoting a thing.
That's true.
And oftentimes, and I appreciate people who are nice, and I appreciate people who can be. And over time, I think you start to decipher who's genuinely nice and who's selling. But at the end of the day, I never forget that, like, they're promoting a product.
Sometimes they promote other products, Jake. I'm just saying. But okay, I'm happy to know that you've kept it professional.
I love this show
Very much. Always does.
I love this show. Can I come back?
Anytime you want, Jake.
Tomorrow.
We're unfiltered.
We're relaxed.
Very unfiltered.
Could you imagine
You can ask them that question.
This show at like 11 at night?
Well, remember, we kind of had a show like this at 11 at night. And it was unfiltered.
Tia in. You know, she asked about if you ever asked a question that you weren't supposed to, but she's supposed to keep it under wraps coming up.
Yeah, I'm supposed to. So I won't ask that question, but I'm going to ask some other questions because I like to ask the controversial questions that everybody
Use this in a promo. This is the best show ever.
Okay, perfect. You said it. Keep watching Chicago Now. We'll have much more right after.
I got to go. I got a meeting with the boss.
Show ever.
Oh.
You have a meeting with the boss?
I got a meeting with the boss downstairs. I got to go.
Meeting, right?
It's a good meeting. It's a good meeting.
Okay, good. Yeah. We'll be right back.
Of course.
To Chicago Now. Every Thursday we check in with our good friends over at Block Club Chicago to kind of give us the rundown of the big stories that are happening all across Chicagoland. And joining us now is Michael Liptrot, who will be talking about some of these stories. Michael, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Tia and Gabby. I'm glad to be here.
You know, Michael, there's some stories that really, I would say, kind of stunned our community, and one of them being the federal agents that jumped out of these unmarked vans. They were outside of a Bronzeville shelter. This happened yesterday, and they detained 4 people. This is part of Bright Star Church's really initiative to, you know, be in the community, help the community. What can you tell us about what unfolded there?
Yes, so Wednesday morning, people, as people do at shelters, people can just be kind of hanging out outside of a shelter, and around 30 agents pulled up in multiple SUVs and vans and detained 4 people outside of Bright Star Shelter. And keep in mind, this is a shelter that started back in 2023 as a part of the migrant crisis and has since transitioned to being a combined shelter. And this really has struck a lot of fear in people and showing how Operation Midway Blitz has expanded. In the past couple of days, we've seen the South Shore raids, to this raid, to even on the West Side, a lot of ICE activity going beyond what we initially expected. And when we think about just the vulnerability of the homeless population and people who are staying at these shelters, so much trauma already associated with institutions, and then to have this happen also just further alienates a lot of people, and being able to trust, even when they're at a shelter, that they can just be comfortable chilling outside.
Michael, I do want to ask you a quick follow-up, and I don't know if you guys are covering this story, but it is trending online right now, and it shows an ICE agent, and several agents, in fact, that had jumped out of a vehicle. I don't know if you've seen this, and it looks like they have a gentleman who appears to be black. We don't really know, his ethnicity overall, but that's what it appears to be, kind of like in a chokehold. Have you seen that video, and is this something that Block Club Chicago is working on? Apparently this happened yesterday as well.
Yes, I've seen it. I saw the Tribe post a video of this, and it's alarming. And it's something that, you can even hear in the background, people having that commentary of, but he's black, why is he being detained? And the questions of what are ICE's true intentions with Operation Midway Blitz, seeing it expand like this. And funny enough, right before I came on, I got some information from the Block Club editors, and I'm getting on this as soon as we get off air. So we'll hopefully have something up soon as well.
Okay, and hopefully we'll be able to, look at some of your reporting and maybe even cover some of that.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks, and seeing situations like this, it's really, really alarming, makes us feel almost sick to our stomach, at least some of us. One thing that I'm hearing out in the field, I was able to visit with the one family, the tamale vendor over on the west side, who was taken by federal agents, and they said, they're really only targeting us, people with brown skin, but it's more than that, right? They said there's more than that. There is, white people maybe from Ireland, black people coming from Africa, so on and so forth. So have you been hearing the same thing? It seems like they're really targeting just Hispanic people.
Or people based on their skin tone, because in some cases, you can be a brown person, not be a dark-skinned, person, but you could be a black person.
Right. And it's definitely coming down to appearances, as things seem to be within Operation Midway Blitz. And for a long time, with how things have been earlier this month and leading up to now, that it was solely people of a Hispanic background that were being targeted and detained, when thinking about a lot of people who are migrants or undocumented citizens. But as we just mentioned, Tia, with the alarming video coming out of the west side, out of Garfield Park, of a black man being detained. And now it leads to further questions of what is the true intention of Operation Midway Blitz? Is it, as it's been described, to take on undocumented citizens and wanting to really enforce immigration and border patrol in that way, versus now taking what appears to be African Americans? It begs the question of, is there something more going on? And like you said, Gabby, with a lot of Operation Midway Blitz, there's so many internalized and stigmatized things being promoted when thinking about xenophobia. And when it comes to migrants, a lot in America of what we view as an undocumented citizen is typically someone who is Hispanic. But you have immigrants who are from Europe, who are from the Middle East, and who are from Asia that fall in as immigrants and are considered immigrants. But the fear that is very much rampant among our communities is largely with the Hispanic population. And now with this incident happening on the west side, now expanding to the Black and African populations. And so for people who are African or African American, it begs the question of, even if you're here lawfully, will ICE potentially see you and look to detain you or question you on your immigration status?
We'll be watching to see what happens here.
You know, another situation that I know you guys are talking about, a Chicago family still reeling after federal agents detained their father while he was on work trip. This was back in September. We've been following it too. You know, now they're asking still to, of course, bring him home, but also for financial support because they need a roof over their head. What have you heard about that story?
So yes, this is someone who, for the sake of their identity, we're referring to as Jose, who was detained on Chicago's Skyway. And this is an immigrant from Ecuador who fled to Chicago really to avoid a lot of drug cartel activity. And he had built a life for himself, started a food delivery company, and was doing a delivery when he was detained by ICE. And so his family has really been put in this situation, as you said, where you have a man who's making money for his family and now is detained. He is unable to provide for his family. His family's family friend has made a GoFundMe, and ultimately they're trying to figure out what to do now. And as of right now, it's around $7,500 out of a $10,000 goal. Jose is detained in Broadview. He's able to make calls occasionally to the family, but those costs around $50, $52 a call. And it's really, the costs are adding up. And local elected officials such as Alderman Byron and Sencho Lopez are advocating for things to change so that citizens don't have to deal with this, where you can have someone who is a crucial member of your family suddenly disappear. And as we've seen when it comes to the Alligator Alcatraz and other centers around America, that they can shut down and people ultimately get lost in the system.
Michael, I got to ask you a follow-up to that because when you said $50+, we both said, what? Wow, because that sounds unbelievable. If you have a family member detained at, for example, Cook County Jail, or even by the Illinois Department of Corrections, that call is not $50 for one call. So my question is has there been any digging into that? Is that for the purpose of people not being able to call? Because at that point, I mean, everything in your life is on hold, financially speaking and everything else. So is the intent, the thought behind that call being that expensive for people not being able to make the call?
Right. And it does beg the question of what are they trying to do when it comes to these costs? And like I said, this is a barrier. And when you think about the justice system, our justice system is founded on fairness. And I think a lot throughout just how things have developed, that idea of fairness has become perverted. And we've seen when it comes to the issue of cash bond in Illinois and other barriers for a lot of people socioeconomically being removed, having a $50 call simply to speak to a family member is a large barrier for a lot of people to even figure out what's next when you can't even have that communication. And then on top of that, when it comes to the Broadview Center specifically, so much is uncertain of what the conditions are like inside. From Jose's wife, who we're referring to as Stephanie, there's more than 200 people there sleeping on the floor, barely in any type of conditions, and no windows. And this is not standardized. And this begs the question of how is the Department of Justice and the Department of Corrections, what department is involved in figuring out how these centers are even supposed to be set up to have and afford those basic human rights that we have when it comes to any form of detainment in lieu of people who have not been convicted of anything. The same way when people go to jail or any type of holding as they await a judgment, there still should be some decency in that.
Yeah. Michael Liptrot, thank you so much for joining us. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. We know that block party is happening this Saturday too, so we'll keep that in mind. Thank you again. We could talk to you probably for hours on some of the stuff that you're covering. Thanks for joining us.
Anytime.
All right, we have the man of the hour, Ice Cube, coming up right after this break. Stay with us.
to Power 4 Decades of Attitude. The man, the myth, the legend, Ice Cube joins us at the 11 o'clock hour of Chicago Now. Thank you so much for blessing us with your presence.
Anytime, every time.
Okay, we're excited. You're coming on Monday to the United Center. Yes. Tell us about your tour. It's the first time you're headlining a U.S. tour in, what, 10 years, I think I read?
Yeah, I mean, it's really my biggest production ever in my career. And, you know, it's a great time to celebrate it. I've been in the industry for 40 years, or been in music for 40 years. And, you know, it's going to be great, you know, to go through that journey. You know, Chicago's been there and been part of this journey from day one. I remember, you know, the first time I came to Chicago, played the Regal Theater on the South Side. And it's a trip because Common, we forgot some records, and Common ended up taking us to the record store to grab one of our own records to play. And so, you know, it's been a great relationship with me in Chicago, you know, with the barbershop movies, you know, working with people like Bernie Mac over the years, and Lisa Ray, and, you know, it's just been a great relationship, a great, you know, time in Chicago for me.
I was telling Gabby when we started the show, I was like, just waking up in the morning, gotta thank God. I mean, it's one of my hits.
Know, it seems kind of...
I know, no barking from the dog, no smog. Come on, finish it for me, Ice, come on.
He's putting you on ice.
That's right.
He's putting you on ice right now.
Let me ask you this, when it comes to your music and what people will see, because you do have such a wide catalog here, are you going all the way back and bringing them up to current? Because I know you just dropped a new album in September.
Yeah, you know, I'm going all the way back to day one. Like, why not? That's how, and it's like a movie. It's more than just a concert. You know, you're gonna actually see my story play out. And you know, with great music and digging into the catalog, you know, I have the time to do songs that I usually don't get to. And it's gonna be fun to bring that to Chicago. You know, we've been playing dates already. I mean, they love it all over the country. So I can't wait to get there.
So since you're going through a lot of the catalog, I mean, how long is this show going to be? Like a few hours?
Definitely a couple of hours, you know, maybe a 2.5 hour show. But it's, you know, like I said, it's more than just a show, it's a journey. You know, you get to really see, you know, how my career played out, the obstacles that we had to face, you know, the different challenges, you know, the different, you know, triumphs, the different tragedies, you know. So to me, it's the production I've been dreaming to do my whole career. And you know, Monday night we get to do it at the United Center.
You mentioned some of your friends and connections that you've made over the years in Chicago. Are you bringing any surprise guests onto that stage with you that are tied to the Windy City?
Look at his smile.
Well, you know, you never know what your boy Ice Cube got up his sleeve, so you got to be in the house to see what I'm gonna bring.
So it sounds like the answer is yes. That's what it sounds like to me.
You know, how do you tell the story? Because you mentioned you're going to be playing, I think, videos, you said. Are you going to be kind of preaching to the crowd a lot too, sharing some of your life story with them?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not really. You know, it's not one of those concerts where it's a bunch of talking and, you know, it's you know, we get to the hits, we get to the music, but we also tell the story, pivotal moments, you know, throughout the 80s, throughout the 90s, the 2000s. You know, it's 4 decades, so we want to tell people who may not be there from day one. You know, a lot of fans, you know, jumped on me from movies. You know, some of them been there since the 80s. They know a lot of these stories, but a lot of people, you know, a lot of my newer fans, they don't really know the exact journey. You know, they seen the Straight Outta Compton movie. They might have seen a few documentaries, but here it is from the horse's mouth. You know, you get a chance to kind of hear my story told by me and a great production. You know, the production is huge.
You mentioned the movies, so I got to ask you. You mentioned Barbershop. Everybody is always asking you, will there be another Friday? Is there anything that you're working on the film side too, that we can expect soon?
Yeah, we are working on another Friday. We're getting it together. You know, we're getting our ducks in a row, as they say. So after the tour, we're gonna jump, you know, knee deep into making that a reality and making it, you know, as great as everybody expected it to be.
So it sounds like you're really familiar with Chicago. When you get here, you're going to have some time to hang around. What are some of the hot spots, things you like to do while you're in town?
Eat. Where do you like to eat?
Yeah. Where can we hang out so we can see you in person?
I don't know how much hanging out I'm gonna have to do, you know, because you know, I'm so, you know, really focused on this show. You know, it is a huge production, so we just got to make sure, you know, everything is perfect. So it's all work and no play for me on this one.
When it comes to Chicago, though, and like the culture, the food, the scene, is there something that you just absolutely love about Chicago?
The people. You know, it's all about the people, the flavor of the people. You know, I've been knowing, you know, I've been having friends in Chicago forever, and I always love to see them, you know, and some of the most coolest people on the planet, you know. So, you know, love to see, you know, my guys like George, you know.
Oh, yeah. Everybody knows George.
You know, love to see those guys, and, you know, my guys from Crucial Conflict, and, you know, it's just always cool, you know, it's always love when I get there.
Yeah, George Daniels is definitely a vibe. He's been a vibe forever, but he seems like as he gets older, he's more of a vibe now, so you're right.
40 years in this industry. It must make you proud, because we're looking at some of the, you know, the clips from the show. You have young people in the crowd too. It probably makes you proud knowing that there's new generations coming and exploring and knowing your music.
It does. You know, as an artist, you want to reach as many people as you can, and to see that the music, you know, is penetrating different generations, you know, as far as people loving the music, loving the story, becoming fans. A lot of these people, a lot of these youngsters was fans of Are We There Yet? And now they're, you know, coming to my concerts. So it's cool to see that, you know, not only the movies is, you know, making an impact, but also the music, and, you know, hopefully, you know, basketball, everything I'm doing, you know, is being enjoyed by the youth.
I was going to say that. You're quite the businessman, too, because you did create the Big Three League. Anything new we can expect coming from the Big Three?
We're just trying to grow the league. You know, hopefully we have some great new players join the league next year. And, you know, we're kind of doing the work behind the scenes to just, you know, make it bigger. You know, the Chicago Triplets was in the championship this year. They didn't quite make it, but next year they probably ready to hold that, you know, Dr. J trophy up. So we just want to grow the league, continue to make people happy with the league, and gain new fans.
You know what, I will say more and more people are definitely talking about it. I have some friends who are tuning in regularly. All right, this is a loaded question. I'm going to take actually a page from Tia's.
Are you going to ask him the question about the craziest thing?
Yeah. So
that's what I was going to
ask mega celebrities like yourself. What is the craziest thing that has ever happened, like fan encounter wise, in your career, 40 years?
Maybe acting, maybe on tour somewhere where a fan, you know, a woman has been following you, is like, there he is, I got him. What's the craziest thing that's ever happened?
You know, I don't want to bring this up too much because they may be out there, but yeah, a fan just was a little too stalky, and I had to get a restraining order. This is in the 90s, and she had wrote my real name is O'Shea, and she had tattooed that on her forehead by hand. It wasn't like she went and had a tattoo artist do it. And it was just bizarre. And she kept telling me that that I'm in the Bible and she needs to show me and all this kind of stuff. So I was like, okay.
Do you know if she had the tattoo removed? I mean, that's crazy.
I have no idea.
I have a
hope
feeling
to
not.
see her again, because that was one of those incidents where, you know, I wasn't sure, you know,
what she was gonna do. Yeah, she's not in Chicago, is she?
Huh?
She's not in Chi-Town, is she?
I hope not.
Okay.
Okay. let's not get.
We don't want to drum her up. Let's not give her no.
Hey, but she's going to jail if she comes close to Cube. So.
Yeah.
That's the craziest thing, you know. Nothing else. That's about the craziest thing that happened.
Let me go into this realm, because you're also a dad, and your son has kind of followed in some of your footsteps in some way. How was that to see your son kind of, you know, get into some of the things that you're also into and have been into?
It's fun. It's cool. You know, he's living his dream. He's running with his opportunities. You know, he wasn't thinking about being an actor or being involved with movie industry. And I asked him, you know, did he want to try to play me in Straight Outta Compton? And he took it serious. He worked for 2 years. He trained. He got, you know, great at acting, and was able to get that part and run with it. And a lot of opportunities since then, and he's living the dream.
All right.
Well, he did a great job. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Fantastic
so, Cube,
job.
we'll be waiting for our front row tickets in the mail for a Monday night show.
You say Cube so casually, like he's like our homie.
He's my boy, yeah.
All right, Ice Cube.
Don't worry about it.
All right, perfect. All right, the show is Monday, October 6th at the United Center. Go get your tickets. Ice Cube, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us on our show. Coming up next, we're going to do a little toasting, a little drinky drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to talk about a big event, some wine, and some other things coming up right here on Chicago Now. Stay with us.
What a good show.
I know, it's been a fantastic show. We'll be right back. It is wine o'clock somewhere, baby, and we're just getting started. The 9th annual Lincoln Park Wine Fest will be happening you're already eating, October 3rd through the 5th at Jonquil Park. There will be wines featured from around the world, food and beverage market as well, and of course some sommeliers there too. Julie Ann Larson is with us from Regional Luxury Manager. She's that for Illinois and Michigan at Treasury Wine Estates, and she's bringing us some of the best wine that will be featured at this event. Tell us all about it. What can we see there?
I'm so excited. Well, so I represent Dow Vineyards, so we're also going to be featuring this wine at Lincoln Park Wine Festival this weekend, and you're going to get to taste some right now.
In my Jefferson
what is
Park
this one?
glass.
So in your Jefferson Park glass. She's got the
Portage Park. She gave us the option.
I
little
did. I
shaky
let them
move.
choose from two of my favorite neighborhoods in the city.
Do a little swirl.
Yep, of course.
And why is it important to do the swirl, Julie?
Yeah, it is important to do the swirl.
Wait, cheers.
Cheers.
Yes, cheers,
Wow.
cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
For those people that may, not really drink wine a lot, you do that to get all the flavors together, right?
Absolutely. You want to, actually you want to coat the glass, and it helps to
That's good.
react with the air and bring out the aromatics of the wine and help to open it up. And so it's a really good idea.
Wow, I didn't waste any time.
It's almost new. Oh my word!
I'm not a lush, but whew, okay.
Well, and right before we went on, I told you, hey, I like sweet stuff, but this is really good.
It was good.
Even for
I like
someone who's a
sweet stuff,
child
too.
like me.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you.
These are dry wines, right? And of course, they're going to have some sweetness to it. They are grapes. But yeah, this definitely has more tropical fruit flavors. So if you like, pineapple, papaya, some peach, pear, it's just aged for 7 months in French oak. So not too oaky, so right down the middle. Great acid, great with charcuterie and food. Also, don't forget to
go ahead.
Eat along with all your wine.
Yeah, you
We're
don't
at
want to
Lincoln
be
Park Wine Festival this weekend. There's going to be a lot of food vendors also, so that's really exciting.
9 years. This has been going on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Is
that's
it
a
an
long
all-day
time.
thing? Like, when people go, what can they experience? Do they get there early?
Yeah, you can. There's different sessions. You can look online to find out what sessions are still available. Sunday, I believe there are, but they're 2-hour increments, and you can walk around and taste. There's many different vendors, food and wine, and it starts in the morning and it goes until 10 o'clock at night.
Why do you think these wine festivals are so, usually around this time we're talking beer. This time we're talking wine.
True.
Well,
why do you think it's so, I guess, popular, all of these different wine fests?
I think people are really...
Is this another?
You have another one. I got to get busy.
We have a few ladies. Wine is always, throughout history, of course. But I do think that people are starting to develop more of a palate for it, and it's fun.
It is fun.
You have music, you have foods, you can do all those things. This is our Dow Rosé. This is 100% Grenache Noir.
Okay.
And the wine itself, really beautiful. You're going to have some strawberry
I love this
notes and like peach and honeysuckle. Beautiful, beautiful. Rosés are very popular now. This is made in the French style of Provence, so you're going to have that light, airy.
Let's say someone can't come to the festival, but they want to pick up some of these bottles. Where can they go?
They can buy them at Binny's, at Garfield's, a lot of fine wine shops around town. So most any place.
Anywhere.
Yep, I know Glenn's has our wines too, Division and Wells. So yeah, many places available. And Dow is really a great story. It's one a very successful story in my mind. 2007, the winery was established by George and Daniel Dow. They actually started with this in mind, Soul of a Lion, which we're going to get to taste pretty soon too.
Okay.
We're going to drink the Dow Cabernet.
I'm just getting right to it today.
Yeah, no, look, I have half my glass left, just so everyone knows.
How much time we have.
So, Julie, I do have a question for you, because sometimes it seems like a different language when people are talking about wines. It's not everyone is so well versed. Maybe that stops them from going to some of the wine festivals. So can a starter, maybe someone who just likes the sweet stuff, kind of expand their palate going to this festival?
Absolutely. That's really kind of the point too. It's a great way to introduce yourself to all the different wines, taste things, try and find out what you really like, because wine is very subjective.
True.
So not everybody likes the same thing. So it's a great opportunity to try many different wines. Now these are not sweet wines, but
no more. I need to finish this.
Put her hand out. She said,
I mean, really.
I got to interview a police chief today. This is going to be a real interesting interview. Yeah, I do. This is going to be a long day. Let me ask you in terms of the ticket price.
Yeah, so tickets are about $60, and there's a VIP price, and then there's the general admission price, too,
Okay.
so which is about $30.
Okay,
yeah, which is keeping it pretty reasonable. So with that, is it going to a couple of booths, getting just small glasses like we're getting right now, and getting to try new things?
A couple ounces. And then you can go back. You don't have to, you can keep going back if you like a wine. And also the VIP area, you're going to have more higher end wines too. So you can, try all kinds of wines from all over the world.
When it comes to trying wine, right? So let's say you've tried a whole bunch of whites and now you want to move on to the reds. What is the best way to clear your palate to be prepared?
Do it. I mean, you can drink, whichever wines you like, but I would start white and rosé and then red. Definitely, you want to cleanse your palate by drinking some water. Don't forget to hydrate, and then also having some meats and cheese. A lot of times, and some people don't know this, but coffee grounds, if you
smell.
Or even with wine. Oh, I thought that was maybe just while you're testing for fumes.
And it'll clear your palate so that you can start fresh. Yeah.
Why would you say someone should attend this event if they never have before?
Well, do you want to have fun?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm having fun
eat
now.
Great food, drink great wine, meet people. There's, people that attend this event are all ages, so it's really fun. They have live music too. And Jonquil Park is beautiful.
Cheers. Come on, Gabby.
Oh, yeah. Cheers.
Let's move on.
Look, I'm trying. Not as good as this you guys are.
One more wine. This is our crown jewel.
Okay.
This is Soul of a Lion. So this is going to be Cabernet.
This will be my last drink of the morning.
This is going to be your last
It should be. We need water at this point, Julie.
Sorry, I'm fresh out of water.
If people are interested in going, where can they find more information?
You can go to the website, chicagoevents.com, and also Lincoln Park Wine Festival, and just Google it. And yeah, looking forward to seeing you this weekend. Are you coming?
We're going to try to. So this runs Friday through Sunday.
It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah, so just so people know. So yeah, get out there. It's going to be a great time. Again, it's at 1001 West Wrightwood Avenue in Chicago. That is Jonquil Park. So make sure that you get out there. Yeah, this sounds like it's going to be a really good time, Julie.
I always have fun in Lincoln Park. Okay, cheers one more time, ladies. Thank you so much.
And we're out of here.
A little bit of a buzz.
Man, we need to do this every end of show.
Friday for Chicago Now.
It's not Friday now?
No, tomorrow.
I'm being funny.
Come on.
I'm being funny.
Now you're trying to scare me.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Be safe.
Cheers.
Don't drink. Don't drive. Don't drink and drive. We'll see you tomorrow.
What kind of advice is that?
Live from Chicago, this is Fox 32 News at Noon.
Now at noon, veterans push back after a 70-year-old was arrested by ICE. We'll let you know their message next. A new immigration dashboard is making sure everyone knows their rights, what advocates want the public to know. Plus, we are headed for a warm stretch, and Caitlin has the forecast in just a bit. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Sylvia Perez. Some veterans are now talking about the National Guard coming to Chicago and the tactics being used on protesters in Broadview. Agents have released tear gas and pepper balls on protesters at the ICE facility. They say adding the National Guard is just going to make that atmosphere even more tense. Fox 32's Joni Lum has the latest.
Veterans and legal experts called on federal agents to stop harassing peaceful protesters here, especially after an Air Force veteran was pushed down and arrested. It happened Saturday. 70-year-old Dana Briggs, seen at the fence outside the building, announced he was a veteran and denounced the actions of the federal agents working immigration enforcement. He was pushed, fell down, and in trying to hand off his phone to another protester, slapped an agent with his arm. He now faces federal charges. Local veterans say the agents firing on the public appear to be untrained.
2 weeks ago, I was grabbed, bruised, and shot with pepper spray, and then tear gas with canisters, simply for helping another peaceful protester. Last week, snipers on the top of the building flooded the entire block, not only against peaceful protests, clergy, but also neighbors and children.
This is yet another example of what continues to be a growing trend of ICE and supporting federal agencies escalating violence against peaceful protesters, simply exercising their First Amendment rights.
During the news conference, another protester claimed his rights are being violated. He tried to overpower the speakers with his voice.
Throw ice on you, you have people who chase you and try to swing at you, that's violent.
So let's not.
That's not violent, that's not peaceful.
So this is an agitator, and he's been coming here and hurting people and screaming at people.
Dana Briggs was advised not to show up outside the Broadview ICE facility since there is a pending legal case. Joni Lum, Fox 32, Chicago.
Thank you, Joni. And our political reporter, Paris Schutz, is joining us now with more on how the village of Broadview is handling this situation. He joins us live from that location. Paris, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Sylvia, all quiet right now at that Broadview ICE detention facility. As you can see behind me, the fencing's still up here on the road, just a handful of onlookers and demonstrators. They are anticipating some activity here as folks are typically brought here in the late morning, early afternoon after early morning actions by ICE. But, you know, the contention is not just between protesters and ICE, but it's the village of Broadview and city officials. They have had a problem with the way they believe ICE has conducted their activities here. Specifically, they say it's wreaking havoc on the neighbors and first responders and businesses around here. The heavy use of tear gas and chemical munitions earlier this week. The village mayor wrote a letter to ICE asking them to cool all of this activity down, and the police chief here, Police Chief Mills, announced 3 separate investigations into ICE activities, including the alleged attack on a CBS 2 reporter who was in her car, who was then hit with a tear gas. So ICE then responded to the mayor earlier this week and said it's not them that's causing the problem, it's the protesters. Quote, these rioters are laying siege and interfering with the legitimate law enforcement operations. Failure to help provide relief makes you a party to the obstruction of justice. There will be no change in our operational posture until these unlawful activities cease. The only siege in Broadview is the one being waged against the United States government. You can either continue to be part of the problem or choose to be part of the solution by directing your police to enforce local ordinances and working with us to remove violent offenders. Now, we're going to be here in Broadview all day. We're going to be talking with the mayor in an exclusive sit-down later this afternoon, and we